Welcome everybody to Eye the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card is about what is hidden from you now. So we're going to look at it on a couple of levels. We're going to look at what could be in your external world hidden from you around other people or situations. We're also going to look at what's hidden within you, which could either be things that you need to mitigate or be aware of to deal with external circumstances, or could be skills or gifts or things that you can bring to the situation that might be hidden externally or some other aspect of your life, and we'll look at how to bring that sort of energy to light for you. So that's the journey we're going to be on. Just a couple of things before talking about the choice. I'm going to use a deck in this particular reading, which is very, to me, it's kind of almost like a journey to the lower world in shamanism, or the underworld, or the dawn of time. It's a very mythically based deck. It's a tarot deck that draws from Medusa, which is both a sort of fearful energy, but also a protective energy within the culture that it comes from. Also Athena, which is sort of the mind and strategy in the celestial realms, and Poseidon, which is the underworld, and in the sense of under the water, our subconscious, all of that kind of, all the 12th house types of energy. So I thought it was the perfect deck to use for this, but because it's got things like Medusa, it has quite a lot of snakes in it. So I'm just giving you a trigger warning up front if those cards come up. They're not meant to be alarming. It's very beautiful, but if you're into sort of dragons and serpents and stuff, you're going to feel right at home. And as someone with 4 planets in Scorpio, I feel right at home with this sort of imagery, but I'm just saying it up front for anybody. But I just felt that it was a good deck to look at what could be hidden. And we'll also use another deck by the same creator, which I'm calling the Portal deck, because he didn't actually name the deck. You'll see all the details down in the description box if you're interested in getting any of them. But yeah, it's a lighter energy, so that's to bring it to the light. So just a little bit of a upfront to let you know that that's the case. Another thing I just want to say quickly, because I was reminded of this today because somebody came to me for a reading and said in a comment that they didn't even know they were available. Although I put it in my description box, I think, I write a lot in the description box, so I don't blame you if you don't read it all. So just for anybody who doesn't know, you can get a private reading from me. The only way to get it is in my Etsy store. The link to that is in the description box below. It's also on my About page for this channel. So if you want a reading, it's there. There's never any expectation. This is a free channel here, but if you want a private reading, that's the only way to get it. And the reason I do it all through that is that you can also be assured if somebody approaches you and says they're me and they try and solicit you to have a reading, it's not me. Now, I'm not aware of anybody doing that with my persona, so to speak, yet, but it could be happening, and I know it happens to other readers. So be aware that I will never solicit a reading or solicit you to come to me for a reading, but you can get it if you want going to my Etsy store, but just beware scammers. Okay. So, and that, scammers, the underneath, what we have to be aware of. So in terms of the choice, you can certainly go to more than one reading if you want. I'll just put down the numbers as I always do for those that like the visual of that. So what I'm using to set the scene is a oracle called the Dialetheia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, oracle. It has the major arcana, the court cards of the tarot, and then other oracle cards. So I had shuffled and asked Spirit for one aspect of what is hidden for that, and there's 2 other cards from this deck that I don't know what they are yet beneath it. So for pile number 1, we have the Knight of Swords. For pile number 2, we have the King of Cups. And for pile number 3, we have the Chariot. So that may help you choose, the imagery may, or whatever way works for you. Pause the video if you need to sort of tune in. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps, as always, are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading. So the Knight of Swords is meant to be an overarching sense about what is hidden, or the energy around it. And then this is meant to be the external and the internal. So the first thing I see around this before anything else is that there is something going on externally you need to be aware of. If we've got the Schemer coming up as an archetype externally, that would suggest to me that you're in a complex environment where people may be having strategies or plans that aren't necessarily in your best interest. I mean, they could be. It could be that it's sort of schemes and plans that you can be part of that actually work for you. So I'm not going to sort of immediately jump into saying that. We'll see what the energy is with the tarot. But But this would be a little bit of a warning that there could be someone who has some sort of manipulation in mind, or something they want to get from you that may or may not be working for you. What you have internally that you almost have hidden is your own creative passion. So for some of you, this could be about a love relationship and whether or not the person is quite what they appear. But if that's the case, it feels to me like your concept of passion, you could bring that to the fore, and we'll be looking at how to use that energy. So there's something around that, but it could also be creativity as well. So that energy is there. The interesting thing around it all is a concept and a decision to sort of say something, speak your truth, have an intellectual understanding of this. And I think that's kind of good that energy is there, because it tells me those in combination for you is that your own intellect, your own capacity to see through things, cut through to the truth, and your creative passion is going to help you with this energy. But I do feel that there's something here that is telling me that externally there's somebody to be wary of. Unless, if you have come to this reading and you go, oh no, actually there's somebody who I'm working with that's highly strategic, and that's going to work. There's still something hidden though. There's something hidden. So whether it's their motives or truly what you want to have out of it, the concept of thought is going to bring that through. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to draw a couple of cards from the Black Moon Astrology deck just to get a little bit more idea about if we can see more about the aspect or aspects of life that are most being touched by this hidden energy, this hidden scheming energy externally and almost hidden creative direction internally. We get fiery element desire. Okay, I do think for many of you this is connecting to some sort of, it's a passion of some sort. It's either something that you're going to find out about either the person that you're passionately interested in, or someone else who's interested in them, or someone else who's trying to be manipulating the energy. Or if it's something creative, then this is definitely something that is of a passionate energy for you. It's something that you really want. Therefore, it's important to be aware where there could be manipulations or schemes. And the North Node, life's purpose. Okay, so this is also something, this is I think why we've got the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords cuts through everything and gets to the truth. So it's also giving a little bit of a solution as to how to deal with this. And when we get to the part of the tarot reading about coming into the light, I think it's about really understanding what your direction is and reclaiming that almost. It feels like maybe because of desire for another person or desire for an outcome, you've actually submerged some of your own direction and life purpose, which has left you a little bit open to other people manipulating you. But you do have what is really underneath within yourself, I think, here is truth. Because this energy can't deal that well with truth, whereas your energy can. So right from the start, it's showing that you actually have everything in your kit bag you're going to need to deal with this energy, but there is definitely something to deal with. So you may not know yet, so this may be the kind of revelation to you, but I think for most of you, you'll probably know what really important thing you want is connected to someone else who may be either competing for it or maybe trying to take advantage of you. So let's get into a little bit more detail around this from tarot. So let's ask a little bit more about what's hidden from you externally. A little bit more detail about that energy. Three of Cups reversed. Judgment. Oh, it's definitely about your calling. The Star and your North Star. Wow, okay. The Lovers. Okay. Page of Cups reversed. All right, so this is going to be the darkest part of the reading because this is what's coming externally, and the externally is a tricky card. We've got that scheming energy. One way of reading this, and there's a number, so I'm going to go first where it's around relationship. You may have a third party operating around a relationship. With Three of Cups reversed, and then we've got Page of Cups reversed here and Schemer, and you literally got three people here too. There may be a third party around somebody that you're interested in. I think you'll know if that's the case, you'll have a sense of it, but whether you know what their motives are or what they're doing is another matter, and you may not know at this point what if it's you and one other person interested in someone, which is probably the most likely energy here, then what the sort of object of desire for both of you feels about it is maybe not clear at the moment. But there's definitely something like that going on. There's definitely something, and if you are wondering if someone that you're going out with might be seeing someone else, this could be saying that could be true. It could be happening. Because the Lovers is also sometimes the choice around more than one party. And the thing that this is saying is that if that's the case, this coming to the surface is what's necessary for you to make the decision to get back towards what you're calling and to what your true passion should be. So for some of you, this is going to be a revelation, or one that you've been suspecting, and this is like a confirmation that this is maybe not the right relationship, or at the very least there is somebody who's trying to manipulate the relationship. So the clarity is necessary, some decisions are necessary to get it back on course. If you feel like there's somebody, if the third party is not someone who is also after the person, if it's like, someone in a family or a friend that's meddling, you may have to bring that to the surface so that the two of you can get connected and move forward. Now, if this isn't about love, though, I think there's going to be a lot of you that it is with the energies, with desire and with the cups energy and the Lovers. But if it's not, if it's about something creative, then this almost is too many cooks spoil the broth. There's a sense of it's hard to really focus on what you would want creatively out of this, because there's a lot of emotional energy with too many people involved. And there may in fact be someone who's a key part of that who actually has an advantage in other people being involved because they get to control it. So, if you were writing a book, for instance, and you had, all these different people who were like reading it and giving you advice, it would almost be one who was particularly manipulative in all of it and would kind of sow seeds of doubt in you, that kind of thing. So there's something around too many people being involved around this energy. And as I say, maybe one person taking advantage of that. And again, it's like the choice about who you connect to, who you keep in your circle and who you don't, making those decisions to go back towards your life's purpose. It's important. Remember the Knight of Swords there. It's just bringing it up to the surface intellectually. It's just recognizing it will give you the strength to move forward. So that's external. What's going on internally, and this is like what's hidden from you or like a bit underneath internally that either could help you or that you also need to be aware of within yourself that could complicate the situation. The Hierophant reversed, the Page of Wands. So yeah, it's coming right up there. The Page of Wands is very important to you. Knight of Swords reversed, okay. Two of Wands, the Magician reversed, okay. Okay, even if you're trying not to see it, you know who this person is or what this energy is. So that's good news. You are aware of it. It is coming to the surface. If you've had doubts, this may well be a confirmation for you. You kind of know. You can sense the energy of the manipulative thing. And you're well versed in knowing about that. So that's the good news. It's like once you realise, they can't do it anymore. So that's good. And you also, your desire in whatever this is, whether it's around love or whether it's around creativity, is strong enough to come out. That's what's going to set you in the right direction. That's what's going to make it possible for you to make the decision about what's happening externally. And again, it's a choice about creative direction or about the person to be with. It's saying it again, there's a choice. You get to make the choice now that you've realised the other dynamic that's going on. You're very unconventional. And it may even be that for some around relationships or even creativity, that's a differentiating factor for you. Like it may be that the relationship is too conventional and you're unconventional. Reconnecting to what is really passionate to you, what you truly desire matters. Now, the issue for you, I think, might be that it's interesting with the Starr, which connects to the North Node and following your pathway. But we've got the Knight of Swords reversed here, and this is part of it, like a realization and a sense of justice is coming up in you, but you almost suppress it. So I think this is the thing to be aware of, that this is an unpleasant thing to realize. I'm sorry, Pole One, I'm sorry it's played out this way, but you need to know there is something unpleasant, I think, around someone involved in all of this. And there is a bit of you that doesn't really want to see that. There's a bit of you that doesn't want to make the decisions to separate out from whatever this is, but that decision is necessary to reconnect to your passion and realizing that you're not conventional. Like I'm also getting, for any of you, if you are involved in something creative or business-wise that's very spiritual, then I think you are unconventional, but there's something that's manipulative as well. And you're going to start to realize maybe that someone who you thought was similarly unconventional is actually kind of a darker energy. So it's got to do with other people in one form or another. So let's use this sort of lighter tarot, the portal tarot, and let's ask for 3 cards for how to bring this energy even more into light so that you can use it to your benefit. Pile 1. 10 of Pentacles. The Lovers. Wow, a lot of you, this is about love. Ace of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So, we had the Lovers up there. And now we've got the Lovers here as well. So I do think for many of you this is about a love relationship. But Lovers isn't always romantic. So it could well be that it is some sort of creative partnership. It's got something to do with desire. So that choice has to be made. You can't avoid that choice. You can't sort of like keep following your North Star and avoid the truth that you're seeing. That's what it's saying. It's saying that there is something, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a creative thing, whatever it is that you desire, it is actually saying you could take this all the way through, but you haven't even started to do that yet because you haven't made this choice. So this may be to leave a relationship because there's a third party so that you can let in the one that could be long-term. Allow that energy in. It could be leaving a creative partnership. It may be deciding I'm going to do what I want creatively regardless so that you can really unlock the potential. The potential is definitely there for something good. So this is meant to help you. This is not Spirit just sort of saying, oh, it sucks, doesn't it? This is Spirit saying this is to help you make the decision. Bringing this stuff to the surface will help you make the decision. So whether it's about a love relationship or a creative one. So, and when you do, you unlock the potential that can really establish something long term. But you have to face up to whatever this energy is, understand that dynamic and act accordingly, pile 1. So let's ask how that let's illuminate your pathway and your soul's pathway to really use this energy. So I'm going to use the path of the illuminated soul, and I'm just going to ask for, again, a card for the external energy that's around you and how to illuminate that pathway, and then also what there is internally. So externally, winds of change, the wind chime. When you hear the chimes, the wind has changed, a new direction awaits. So it's basically, again, and this feels like the Knight of Swords, using the wings, the wind energy of the wings to just rise up and see something clearly. Something has to change. It's saying this. Like, for you to illuminate your path, you're going to have to make a choice that changes something. And it's got to do with external factors, like who you connect with. Then internally, questions, the pendulum, the inner plight, the searching heart, you have the answer. Yeah, you have the answer. We're saying it with the Page of Wands coming up. What is of true desire to you, as opposed to maybe almost the idea of desire? Because the idea is the thing that can be manipulated by the reverse magician, by that figure there. This is like asking the questions within. Within is the answers. What is your North Star? What is your passion? What is your life direction? Because something in this situation has to change. You're with the wrong people in some form, or at least one wrong person, and it's worth knowing what that is. So, and that's ask the right questions. When you ask the right questions internally, all the answers are there. Okay. So let's also get you a couple of pieces of wildcard energy as well. If that's the illumination, let's again, for the external and the internal, get you some wildcard energy or information to be aware of. So for this external schemer energy, okay, we have Ganesh, extreme luck, everything is fine, obstacle removed. Like, yeah, you've just got to make the choice and you're going to be fine. And that's why it's saying, like, certainly if this is around business or even like a long-term relationship that is also going to be materially helpful, all of that is meant to come in. But Ganesh does remove obstacles. The obstacle is this other party involved. So it's just, once you make that decision to change, it's pretty much all you have to do. And for the internal energy, midnight breakfast, alternative solution, expect the unexpected, plan B. Yeah, this is like go within to find the different plan. You are going to have to shift gears in some way. So whatever this is, and it is something you're passionate about, I mean, I feel like if it's a relationship, well, I mean, it could be that, just being aware of a third party and clarifying all that, and getting away from that energy does it. But I think for many of you, it might be sort of realizing perhaps a relationship is not the right one so that you can then find the right one. If it's creative, I think it's about what do you do without the connections that you're needing to disconnect from, knowing that luck is coming in, but you do need a plan B. You need to know what you're going to do with this. Okay, let's get you some astrology as well. So I'm going to use a deck that has different planets together, and then a separate deck to look at the aspects that are being formed by those planets. So again, I'm just going to do the external energy and the internal energy. So something astrological around the external energy is Sun and Saturn. Yeah, your life path and the structure of your life path. This is what's at stake here. But Saturn, like this energy, is very limiting to your life path when it gets to scheme and rule over you. So let's see the aspect between Sun and Saturn. Grand Cross, yeah, there's a tension. And we need to look for a couple of other planets that are involved. So we have a kind of restrictive energy. This is why the Knight of Swords is important. There's that air energy to break everything free and move forward. We have a restrictive energy on your life path. The other two planets involved are the Sun. Okay, so this is saying their time is of the essence. If you get two of the same planet here, it tells me that the Grand Cross, in a sense, is being formed between a natal Sun and a transiting Sun. So time is of the essence. Again, why we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords moves very fast, probably the fastest in the deck. So that's important to know that this is an opportunity to move towards your life path, but you need to act quickly. And Jupiter, because there is expansion, breaking out from the restriction. There's something very restrictive about this energy. And if you take the decision to move out of it, that's going to relieve the tension and bring in the luck. Okay, so let's see the astrology around your internal. Then when you ask the right questions and you make the new plan, we get Mars and Uranus. Yeah, at that point you get back to the passion, get back to the action, get back to the change. You know that you can do it. You know that you have the energy to do it. Let's see the aspect around that. Is it going to be simple and easy, or is it a bit complex? Square. Okay, it's a tension. This is not an easy thing to do. I think whatever this is, it's not easy to see this, but once you've done it, it releases the energy and allows you to reconnect and have the plan B, but you have to act. You have to act to change. It's saying it over and over. Like, this is not something you can just realise and then leave everything as it is. But the square can work well when you actually make the decision to use those energies. So your ambition, your drive, your passion, and your will to change. Okay. So last but not least, I wanted a blessing at the end of this reading, and I think we definitely need it for you, because I'm sorry, that's a bit of a heavy message, but I do think you're more than capable of making the changes. But let's ask for a blessing once you've brought all this to the light. A blessing on a journey. Okay, so that could be very literal. Out of all of this, you could decide to travel, to move away, to part company, all of those sort of things, and it's a blessing on that. It could also be your life journey, what your pathway is, what you're meant to do. It's really interesting too that we've got three figures here. If this isn't like a love triangle or something like that, we've got three birds flying into the distance and then one remains. It's like, I feel like for some of you, this might be around a group of people, and you detach from that group of people and you're looking back at them going, but they're going, so that you can actually follow what you're meant to do. So I hope that resonates for you, Pole 1. I hope it was helpful. As I say, it's a little bit of a hard message, but I think it's one that you're more than capable of dealing with. So I hope that was helpful and you enjoyed it. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pole 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the King of Cups. So this is an overarching energy about what is hidden and what is being revealed. This card represents external factors and this is internal factors. I've got to say, the first thing that really came across to me looking at this was almost like a grail quest, and one that has been difficult for some reason in the external world, but which there's an energy of like great reawakening and reignition of it coming through, and a rededication that then arises within you. The King of Cups to me often makes me think of the Grail Quest, and particularly in, say, this particular depiction of him. Like, it almost looks like the Fisher King or something like that. There's that whole sort of sense of him offering the cup here. So this is something about your life's purpose, your spiritual quest, that kind of thing, is there's something that's been hidden from you. But I think it's because there's been something difficult externally. Because for the Phoenix energy to be there, what's hidden from you is how you're going to arise from something that didn't work. So if you, as an example, if your Grail quest was to, I don't know, start a YouTube channel on some spiritual topic and it didn't sort of really take, it's like you're going to arise from that. Whatever the difficulties you were, you're going to arise and fly much higher. And it's hidden from you right now, but it's coming up. And then there's almost been in this a weariness internally. But with the Knight of Pentacles, there is this rededication to the cause, this recommitment to the cause as a result of something which allows you to arise from something that was not favourable to you externally. So this is a very good news one, I think. It's saying that something really wonderful, an opportunity is coming up for you externally, which will rededicate you to your cause. Let's see with the Black Moon Astrology deck a little bit more about what the energies are we're talking about here. So, oh, wow, your destiny. Yeah, this is destiny, all right? It's got, yeah, you're meant to do this, but you're getting rededicated after something didn't work. This is the finger of fate. This is you following a pathway you're meant to do. You're very singularly meant to do. And Leo, I will. Yeah, there's the fiery energy rising up, the sort of dramatic energy rising up. It makes sense to me why I sort of felt this, the example I used was almost like social influencing or something creative. Like this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be doing this in a traditionally creative area, but there's something dramatic, there's something creative, there's something fiery about this, and the willpower coming in. And it interests me that this naturally fell sort of next to the Knight of Pentacles, because this is just overall, I wasn't sort of thinking as internal or external for these two cards, but I do think that this is saying something about the loyalty, the rededication to loyalty, because of all the fire signs. I think Leo is probably the one that is most loyal. So this does seem to me to be saying something about you rededicating to something after you arise from the ashes and you recommit to your destiny. You start to realize, because an opportunity is coming for you to do that, that this really is your destiny. It may have been, you might have gone through a lot of doubt. You might have gone through a dark night of the soul. Am I really meant to do this? This is what's in my heart. But, am I having to submerge that energy because something didn't work? But yeah, you are meant to do it, and you're going to rise and you're going to rededicate. So very, very positive. So let's have a look at a little bit more detail with tarot. Let's ask a little bit more about the external thing that's arising. Now, this is your Phoenix opportunity, but it may talk quite a bit about what the difficulty was that you're arising from, depending upon where you're at. So let's just see what we get. The High Priestess, the Fool, the Four of Pentacles reversed, the Nine of Pentacles reversed, the Ten of Wands. Okay, so I think it's telling us a bit of both. I think it's definitely saying that your inner knowing around this, your inner understanding with the King of Cups there is spot on. Very, very psychic. Like, even if, as I say, this is very creative what you're doing, there's something very spiritual about it. That's why I'm feeling like the Holy Grail quest. There's something in that space. And you kind of know the mysteries. And externally, you're going to become more and more connected to that sort of energy. In fact, there's a whole new lease of life around something like that for you. That's why I think it came to me like, a spiritual channel on YouTube. It doesn't have to be that. It's just, there's your knowledge and your connection to the knowledge, and you're going to learn more. More is going to come to the surface. You're going to get very focused on the mysteries of life, because there's something about this. It's like, whatever it is, whether you are doing something that is overtly spiritual or not, it's like something happened where something you were trying to establish did not hold. The Four of Pentacles reversed here. And dealing with other people in relation to this was like almost exhausting. As it didn't hold, it was almost like you felt you had to hold it together, very dedicated to this. And it didn't work externally. Like, the connections to others and the foundation of it didn't work. And you probably felt like, that's it, how can I can't do this on my own, but I can't find the right people. but something is coming. It's like new knowledge, new connections, a new direction, and you become dedicated to it because you suddenly think, yeah, there is a destiny here. Like, I thought all those doors were shut, but now this door is opening, and you're going to rise out of it. And in rising out of it, you start to sort of see what your real cause is and where the power of your willpower is. So it's definitely saying something didn't work, but like there's a mystery. Like something's going to come in, a new opportunity, a new door opening, something like that. It may have already happened and you may be already on your Phoenix rise, or it might be coming, but I think it's probably more likely to be coming because of the nature of this reading, but I think you may even have a sense of it coming in because you're very psychic and it puts you on a whole new pathway, but it's a rededicated pathway. It's just that whatever didn't work, you can leave that behind. You can move into what will work. So let's have a look at what's rising up with your Knight of Pentacles here, this rededication internally. What's coming to the surface internally as a result of this for you? King of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, there's the new beginning. It's got great blessing around it. Ten of Pentacles. Wow, yeah. Anything that didn't work materially around this is going to work. You're going to find the answer to this internally. You are. It's coming up within you. The Tower reversed. The Three of Wands reversed. Okay, so what's coming up for your rededication? How you're going to rededicate is you know you're going to understand what happened. You're going to find something out actually with the High Priestess there. I think like something, there could be a spiritual sort of like a knowing or download, or it could literally be that you just find something out and you get an understanding of what happened is going to come through, and what you could now create that's new and better with the Ace of Pentacles that you can take all the way through. The interesting thing is there are still some people from the past. You might have felt like I haven't got the right people, but this is saying that there are some people that could actually modify and work with you to build something new. There are others that you need to separate from. So there's something in working with others, because this is your mission, this is your destiny. There's something in working and connecting with others that didn't work last time, but there is still some salvageable stuff in that. There are others who are just not on the same path as you. So you need to kind of move away from them. But this is definitely saying you get the aha moment. You're going to understand. This is why you're going to rededicate, because you can see it now. It's almost like you could get like a bird's eye view of why it didn't work, and then you know, okay, this is how I build next time. You know, and there are some incremental changes from the past that I can take forward, but there's other things that I have to let go. So as I say, and it's interesting because it is the Pentacles thing here. There's something very material coming out of this. You're meant to create something material in the world. So let's get 3 cards from the Portal Tarot for how to best bring all of this to light. King of Wands, 10 of Cups, Page of Swords. Okay, speaking your truth, because you're on the side of truth, and potentially, as I say, I was thinking like social media. I think for some of you this is about something like social media or something like that is online potentially, but there is something here about getting true to your kind of emotional vision. King of Wands with the 10 of Cups is almost like marrying to create the King of Cups. It's like it's the creative vision and the emotional depth. So there's something here about that's the core of it. What's really coming back is your Grail quest, and it's a combination of that kind of almost Leonian, or at least fire energy around the King of Wands, and what you want emotionally. And it's like speaking that truth. And like you are going to be true to that. This is why I think there are some relationships and connections from what didn't work that could move forward, and others that are not going to be able to stand the truth. And it'll work itself out, being true to your vision and true to your heart. And if any of this is about finding, your love, the great love or something like that, if something didn't work out, it's because something even better is coming in. So it's very, very positive energy. So let's have a look then at like a little bit more to illuminate your path using the path of the illuminated soul. So I'm going to pull a card for external things that are coming to the surface, and then also for the internal. So the external for you. Dreamscapes, the wishing stones. For your dreams are as landscapes of your desires. Yeah, something's going something very material, stones, pentacles, something very material is coming in. You're going to get a sense of like what you can do, what you can arise to do. That's coming up. Like there's definitely a new opportunity coming up. And it's sort of like allow yourself to wish, I think, with it. And then the internal, if something very material is coming up to show you there's an open door, there's a new way of building what you want, then internally what can arise? I am me, the soul story, typography of the soul writes its own words, the story of you. So yeah, this is you dedicating back to who you are and to what your particular thing is. And as I say, you can bring other people with you if they're the right people, but like this is really you reconnecting to what your soul purpose is, I think, pole 2. And that's why you're going to be allowed to, it's your destiny, and that's why you're going to be allowed to rise like a phoenix from what hasn't worked. So let's also get you a wild card around each of these things. So a wild card around the energy that's externally coming to let you rise like a phoenix is inner beauty, self-love, romantic feelings, falling in love. So for some of you, it could be connecting and falling in love and dedicating to love, and that almost like courtly love, that, something that is sort of honourable and connected to destiny. But otherwise, I think it's that whatever didn't work made you feel a loss of confidence, a loss of belief in yourself, but you're going to reconnect with your inner beauty, with what you can do. And so fall back in love with your destiny or fall in love. It could be also that it's saying it's a wild card. Externally, what's going to happen with this, with the 10 of Cups associated with it, is that you are also going to meet the love of your life. Even if this overall reading isn't about love, it's about some sort of creative venture or something like that, you're still going to do that. Let's see the wild card around you really getting back to who you are and rededicated to your soul story. Divine feminine, abundance, growth, artistic project. Yeah, so there's definitely a sense of creativity around this. This is reconnecting back. It's interesting too, because we've got like a Knight and we've got a King of Cups, King of Wands here. Part of you getting back to your core and who you are is balancing the sort of divine masculine and feminine within yourself. So there's very much that sort of sense of the feminine actually with both of those coming up. So maybe there's something about where you were trying to do this work that felt very overtly masculine, and this is like bringing that balance in. Okay, we also want to get some astrology. So again, for the external and internal, I'm going to use a deck that has planets, and then we'll see what aspects they have. So the kind of planets that are in aspect around this phoenix arising for you externally. Venus and Uranus. Yeah, there's something about love, actually, and the feminine principle, change being brought by the feminine principle. So, it could be for some of you that this is about finding love after a love that didn't work out, definitely, if that's sort of something that you're feeling. Otherwise, there's something very beautiful about the change and the creation that you can bring in. And of course, the phoenix is an incredibly beautiful bird, if you think about it. So let's see the aspect. Are Venus and Uranus working positively together, or are they in a complex or difficult aspect? Stellium, well, they're probably working fine, but they're working with another planet as well. So let's see, we've got the sort of divine feminine, beautiful aspect, change that you're bringing in, the phoenix rising. What is the other planet? Saturn. Okay, and that's what you can bring into form and dedicate yourself to. Yeah, when you rise like a phoenix, you're dedicating yourself to something. You've made the change, you've brought the beauty out, and then you're dedicating to it. I think that's working very positively, those three together. Saturn and Uranus together can be a bit tense in that they seem to be opposite energies, but I think the Phoenix and the Knight of Pentacles is a perfect example of that kind of energy. It's sort of like the sort of beautiful, fiery change and then the dedication. So something very profound's coming through for you, I think, pole 2. So let's see internally what's going on astrologically. Mercury and Saturn, a lot of this is about what you will form and what you dedicate to, and then what is your message actually with the Page of Swords. It is partly about how you bring your message out, what you communicate about what you're dedicated to. So it is like a recommitment. It's like literally you could like kind of make a statement, I'm now dedicated to doing this. Let's see whether Mercury and Saturn are working easily together or in some sort of challenging way. Conjunction, they can work very well together. But you need to connect these things. You need to connect your message with what you're dedicated to. That's how you really unlock the power of the internal energy that's coming up to view. Okay, So last but not least, I wanted to end with a blessing because I thought it's really important when we're bringing things to light to have a blessing. Now, I think overall this is a blessing, this reading, but let's just see what Spirit wants to say as an overarching blessing for you. A blessing on growing older. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're old. I mean, some of you may be, but that I think it's a maturity. I think it's almost as though probably what you had before was like the Page of Cups and, the Page of Pentacles or whatever, and it didn't work. Like part of this process where something didn't work and now you arise from it is a maturation, and that allows you to have the wisdom to move forward. So that sense of like gaining of wisdom has been a blessing, and it now can take you forward to really rededicate to your life's path. So I hope that resonates for you, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Chariot. So the Chariot here is sort of like a overarching energy around what is arising both externally that's hidden from you and internally that either you've hidden from yourself or which rises within you as a result of the external hidden thing coming to the surface. And it's interesting, one of the other readings in this group I felt very much like a Grail quest. There's a bit of a similar energy to this. There's something about following your calling. In fact, that's been kind of a through line of all these readings, which is interesting. But the Chariot says that there's a form of destiny coming. So what's arising is connected to your destiny, and it's connected to your capacity to balance, things like light and dark, shadow and light, head and heart, all of those things, and keep a momentum where change is happening quite quickly. And externally, something very quick. It's something that has a time clock on it is coming up. So judgment is certainly about a calling. Like you could be offered a job, you could be offered some sort of vocation, you could be called to a spiritual vocation or to something creative. Something like that is coming through. It has an external impetus to it that is coming up to the surface, but you may have had a sense of it coming. But it doesn't have, it has a time frame on it. I always feel with judgment that it's like the decision you have to make, because if you don't make it relatively quickly, the opportunity passes by. And I think that Spirit really wants to say this has got something to do with your destiny. Doesn't necessarily mean if you don't take this decision now that your destiny stops, but it's like this is an open portal to that, and it's connected to what would you emotionally dedicate yourself to, whether it's a relationship, a cause, whatever it is. There's an offering that you will probably want to make to someone or something as a result of this decision, this opportunity, this calling that comes to you. And there is destiny associated with it. So let's use the Black Moon Astrology deck and just see if we can get a little bit more information about the nature of this in your life, like what aspects of your life it might be impacting. Leo, I will. So this is about things that are around who you truly are in the world, your personal presence, how you present yourself to the world, something creative, what you would want to bring into being. So there's a very strong energy around this. I think there's a connection between who you really want to be in the world and this opportunity that's coming. And Scorpio, I transform. So there's something very emotionally transformative around this. And I think this is saying that it's actually it feels more like a balance, that the Chariot here is a balance between your passion and your emotion, like your drives, your ambition and desires, and then the deep emotional impact of that, what you would really, as I say, emotionally dedicate yourself to. But it's the balancing of it, this whatever is coming, and I think this is the key, some opportunity, some change, something, some calling, some download, something is coming that is connected to who you want to passionately be in the world. And to follow that destiny, you will learn that you have to kind of dedicate yourself to something emotional, and it's a deeply transformative thing to do it. Like I'm getting for some of you, this may be meeting the great love of your life and dedicating yourself to something that is a committed relationship, and maybe it's the first time you've really felt that. That is a possibility with that kind of cards. It doesn't have to be that, but I'm getting that could be for some, so I'm saying it. So let's get a little bit of information from Tarot. Let's ask a bit more about this judgment. What is the calling? What's coming up? Like a pivotal time, a pivotal decision. A little bit more information about that for you, pile 3. King of Cups. Okay, Knight of Cups, King of Cups. King of Swords. Wow. The Fool. Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Cups reverse. Oh, okay. That's the Scorpio energy. All right, so I'm going to say first if this is a significant relationship, because I do think it could be for some of you. Then I'm going to talk about it more generally. If this is a significant relationship, then there is the possibility of a very destined soul twin type of energy going on here when we've got the king and the queen of a suit. Now, it's not about gender or gender preference, but when you get the king and the queen of a suit together, and if it's around a relationship, I think it's about one that has within it a lot of potential to be a soulmate. But it's interesting, a transformative energy is going to be necessary. This is part of the calling, probably for you, I would say, in either how you relate or in what you're looking for, or in how you kind of communicate what you relate, because the Queen of Cups is reversed here. Scorpio's card and it's reversed. So there's almost like the external energy is coming because of a resistance to change emotionally. So it'll be interesting to see what we get internally with the Knight of Cups. But this may be someone coming in who is ultimately, if you don't resist the change emotionally, going to be very balanced. And this is a balance of head and heart, King of Cups and King of Swords. So there's a very strong energy there, and there's probably going to be a very strong mental connection between you, but it's a new pathway, has a lot of promise, but you've got to transform in some way to allow this in, or to commit to it in some way. Now, if it isn't about a relationship, if it's about something like a calling, career or creatively or whatever, then again, there's something in you around what you care about that has to transform to unlock this energy. Like the skills are all there. You're all ready. You're ready to do it. You've got the emotional depth. You've got the intellectual acuity. The destiny is ready to happen. But there's something coming externally that is forcing you to change what you would emotionally connect to unlock this energy. So, it could be that you're in a very good job that pays very well, but then there's sort of something that comes along, an opportunity that may not pay as well, but will actually, be more in line with your passion or more in line with your heart. And you might have to make a decision to transform and put less in the bucket of how much money you make and more in how much satisfaction you get. It's just an example. But there's something where you are going to have to transform. So the internal thing is very important here, to connect to the Knight of Cups, to be able to offer something emotionally transformative and that meets the calling in some way. So let's see what Spirit has to say about what is sort of hidden within you that needs to sort of rise up, either skills or changes. A little bit more about that energy, pile 3. The Magician reversed, the Starr, the Knight of Swords reversed, the Seven of Wands reversed, the Page of Swords reversed. Okay. This is why the transformation is important. Right now, it looks to me like there's something about what you would truly love and truly care about that is quite deeply submerged within you. It's really important to start focusing on that and working out what that would be, because there's a wonderful opportunity coming up. And so I'm only saying this so that you don't miss the opportunity in whatever form it is, because this is saying all these skills and abilities are kind of submerged. The Magician is submerged, and you may not even be being totally honest with yourself about it. It's getting in the way of you following what you truly want, or even recognizing what you truly want. So you become quite conservative. And you kind of then, even though the Leo, I will, passion is there, it's like you don't have the sort of courage to go forward with doing it because you're not sure about how to speak this, how to say this, what to do. So if this is around love, you may have been burnt in love before, and you sense something very significant comes in when this person comes in, and then it's like you instantly go into the, can I trust this? Can I speak? And you almost like hide what you're feeling. And yet this is going to call upon you to dedicate to and speak of something that you care about. If it's not in a relationship, if it's around sort of career or vocation, then there is an enormous energy in you that you are underestimating. You're being really conservative, and that's locking up what you could do with this. So you have to bring to the surface what you care about. You're going to find you have the power to transform, even though it feels a bit scary to do it, and that's going to bring in this wonderful opportunity. But you've got to be honest with yourself that you haven't necessarily been speaking your truth and what you really care about. And this could well be because the environment you're in is complex or something like that. So I'm not having a go at you. I'm just saying that there's a lot of promise here. It's just you've got to be prepared to grab it. and to back yourself, because that's what you've got to transform, this sort of almost innate pessimism about it. You've got, and like not wanting to speak your truth, for whatever reason. There's an opportunity coming now. So let's see with the Portal Tarot how, like 3 cards for how to bring all this to the light. The Emperor. Sorry, I'll just move that up a bit more so you can see it. The Hanged Man reversed. The Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so if this is about work, then there's definitely you stepping up into more of a leadership position. It's like you get an opportunity to move forward or something. That's what that looks like taking on a leadership and then being true to what you do. It may even be that you're worried about, taking on that kind of responsibility, but you're ready for it. It's your destiny. You've just got to kind of like connect it to what you care about. And that is just thinking differently about whatever the situation is, because that brings in a very stable sense of, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can make this happen. You can go from the Fool through to like the Ten of Pentacles, this sort of sense of like establishing something. So certainly if this is something like a job opportunity, a change in career or something like that, this is saying go for it. Go for it. You are actually far more ready than you think. And you just got to think differently about that and see how far you can go, because that brings it in. If it's a relationship, again, it's thinking differently about relationships, because there's the possibility of a connection here that is long term. But it's important in whatever this energy is, this transformative energy, to make sure it's an equal partnership, that one is not dominating the other. That's the only thing to be aware of, because there's a possibility at the moment, if you're coming up as the Queen of Cups, and again, this is not about gender, if you're coming up the Queen of Cups and there's a King of Cups externally, if you're not having the courage to speak your truth and transform and bring it out, you may be kind of letting the energy dominate you, even if the person doesn't want to. So that's something to be aware of. Okay, so let's have a little bit more of a look into each side of this. So firstly, around the illumination of this, using the path of the illuminated soul, we're going to draw a card for the external energy around this judgment, and then the internal. So around the calling, the decision. Past life, the gold locket. I know you, I've known you before, I want to know you again. Like, I do think for most of you this is about a love relationship, to be honest. But if it is a career thing, then there's someone who's coming in that there's a very strong past life connection to. And it's a positive one, I would say. This looks positive. It's like you've just got to believe that it could be. So, wow, okay. Then let's see the internal energy, the internal illumination. I am me, the soul story. This came up for one of the other readings. Typography of the soul writes its own words, the story of you. So yeah, this is about becoming true to you. There's something about a person coming into your life, either for love or for friendship or for creativity or for career. It's like, and that you got to grab this opportunity, Pile 3, because it actually helps you become closer to who you are. Let's get a wild card for each of those as well. So around this external, this person coming, I think it's a person or an offer coming through a person, but it's connected to a person with that you have known before. Either you've known before in this life or in a past life. The wild card energy around that is, oh, okay, thirst for revenge, conspiracy, victim role, justice will be served, anger. It may be that maybe one of the reasons why you're concerned is that there's something in a past life karma where you or the other person or the two of you suffered for being together, or they could come into your life because you're looking to right a wrong in some way. This is a wild card energy around it. So I think one of the things around it, again, it's like, what are you going to commit to that you care about? So I'm getting that for some of you, if you have had a bad relationship, don't kind of replicate those patterns into this, because it's not that. Like kind of deal with and clear those patterns out and transform them, because this is not what this is. But it wouldn't surprise me if some of you have suffered with this person in a past life or something. So you may kind of both want to right a wrong. Then the wildcard energy that's around you becoming clearer to who you are. Rest. Take a break, pause, inaction, time off. You just kind of let it all happen. Just let the transformation happen within. Again, that feels like very scorpionic. There's a scorpionic transformation here. And so then it makes sense that you would have those kind of energies. Scorpio is very revengey. So I think there's sort of something in transforming and letting that energy go so that you can let the new energy in. That's what I think we're getting here. Okay, let's also get some astrology energy as well. So I'm using a deck that has two planets that come together, and then we'll have a look at what aspect they're coming together in. So firstly, around this judgment, this past life energy that's coming in, righting old wrongs, moving forward, being able to be true to your heart again, transforming all of that into something that is better balanced and long term. The astrological energy is Saturn and Chiron. Yeah, okay, there's definitely some karmic stuff to be cleared and healed here. But I don't feel like this past life, this person coming in is bad. I think this is a good energy coming in, but I think it's allowing both of you to heal some stuff from the past. So let's see whether Saturn and Chiron are operating in a friendly aspect or a difficult aspect. Trine, they're in a friendly aspect. This is very much a time where old karmic things can be healed. So this is what this is about. So don't doubt it and don't feel frightened. This is meant to move in a good direction for you. So over here, around the transformation, around you coming back more to who you are, the astrological energy is Mercury and Saturn. So yeah, how you speak, what you speak of, how you express what you care about and what you are prepared to commit to now. And again, the karmic stuff. There's an opportunity to speak the truth, I think, here. Let's see if Mercury and Saturn are in a friendly or a difficult aspect. Conjunction. Probably friendly. I mean, there are two energies coming together. So I think it is saying that communication is key. Like, go within, work this out, but then you have to speak the truth of what you care about. You have to speak the transformation in some way to make this really come together. Okay, so interesting energies. Let's just finish with a blessing over the whole thing. That's interesting. This came up for one of the others. I think some of you may be going to more than one reading. A blessing on a journey. So there's a journey. There's, and that makes sense with the Fool. Like this is something new. I also feel when I look at this that there are past things that are leaving so that the future can call you. So I think there's a sort of sense of letting go and seeing the past and letting go of that kind of energy, transforming, just releasing it, so that you can actually follow the energy into the future. But you've got to release it first. You've got to look back and release it first. And it's also picking up the past life energy so that you can move forward, with what you want to do and take advantage of this opportunity. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.